When the movie starts, we are shown a scene of some strange creatures coming out of the sea and moving towards the city, and they are named parasites. Then we see a man who is sleeping in his room, and one of the parasites rings and goes inside his ear. The man cries a lot and then goes back to sleep. Now we are shown a boy whose name was Shinichi. He is listening to music with headphones in his room at night. The parasite tries to penetrate his ear, but he does not get angry. Now he's going to his nose. Shinichi gets irritated. Then he understands that it is a worm, so he catches it and throws it away. He proceeds to kill her, but just then the parasite bites on her hand and goes inside her hand. Just then his mother also comes there. He tells them that something has gone in my hand, and when his mother sees his hand, he is absolutely fine. Now the next morning we are shown that Shinji is sitting at the breakfast table. He has a very strange feeling in his hand, and then on the other side we are also shown a lot in whose ear a parasite had gone in the start. He stands in front of his wife and opens his mouth. His mouth was very scary and very big, and he takes his wife's head in his mouth and closes his scary mouth, and this was happening because of everyone. Then we are shown Shinichi, who meets his friend on the way to school. She also notes a lot of strange movements in him, and even when he reaches school, a lot of strange things were happening to him. Like he's got a lot of power in his right hand. He comes home and tries to cut his hand, but his hand starts moving and stops him, and then we see that his hand is turned into a creature, and he was also talking to Shinji. Then we see that he also read Shinji's books and used his laptop because he wanted to know how humans live when it had tried to penetrate Shinji's body. Shinji had stopped it from going further. So now it was only in the right hand and controlling the same hand. He says his name is Mickey and says, "Don't ever cut me because I won't tell you anything. You are my host." Now we see that Shinji and Mickey were starting to make friends, but the rest of the people who were infected by the parasites were causing a lot of havoc throughout the city and killing and eating humans. Maggie, on the other hand, pulls the Shinji and takes it towards a restaurant. There were also many infected people, i.e. parasites, eating human excreta. When they see Shinji, they think that he is also infected and they also give him funds. But when they realize that it is not fully infected but it is still human, they proceed to kill him. But Maggie kills them further and saves Shinji's life because if Shinji died, he would also die, and he did this for his own benefit. Now the news comes that the people of the city are being killed, and no one understands that it is going to kill them because the parasites were saying their work very cleverly and secretly. Shinsei tells Mickey, "Why don't you tell your fellow parasites not to eat humans?" So Mickey tells him that you also eat vegetables and animal shells. Now Mickey knew that there was a parasite around him. So when Shinji goes to school, he tells her that you have another parasite and she was none other than his teacher. And when the teacher sees Shinji, she also knows that he is infected, but she says that you do not need to be afraid of me because I do not want to harm humans, but I am studying their ways. So that human-like qualities always remain in me. She takes it to two more parasites, a police officer and a student. She says that this police officer is my husband and we are going to have a baby, and that baby will be a normal person. So we also want to live like humans. We will not harm anyone. We will not kill anyone publicly, but if you want to eat Gukuch secretly, will you join our group? But I don't believe that. Now the next day, the same police officer comes to those people and tells Maggie that he has come to kill us because he has come to know that we had killed a parasite in the restaurant that day, and with this, the police officer attacks them. Now Mickey and Shinji also fight a lot and finally kill him. When Shinji comes home, he feels very bad that he committed a murder. But on the other hand, we see that the parasite comes out of the police officer's body and goes into someone else's body, and it was none other than Shinji's mother, and she was moving towards him to kill Shinji. Mickey tells Shinji that she wants to kill you, and Shinji tells her that you said something to my mother because he loved his mother very much and he did not want his mother to die. On seeing her mother, S head also starts opening like other parasites and she attacks Shinji. He's bleeding a lot. He is close to dying, but the next morning we see that he has risen again. So Maggie tells him that you were very injured, but I healed your wound with my cells. But the bad thing here was that now the Maggie cells had gone into Shinji's body, and now he was getting infected completely. Now Shinji begins to search for his mother, but when she is nowhere to be found, he goes to the teacher and asks about the police officer, but the teacher does not tell him anything. Maggie tells him that now I will also need to sleep for 4 hours a day, and at that time I will not be able to save you. You have to fight alone. But because the cells of Maggie were also in his body now, the qualities of Maggie also started coming in him. Well, then we see that the same student who was shown by the teacher, who had now become a parasite, also takes admission in Shinichi's school. He pretends to be Shinichi's friend, but soon everyone comes to know that he is a parasite, and then the student kills them all. After this, he also has to kill Shinichi's friend, but Shinichi picks up his friend and puts the building siege up. Now the teacher comes there, and she wanted the student to die because it could also open his secret. He blasts there, but nothing happens to him, and then the police comes there, but he also kills the police. Now I tell this Shinichi that he is on the roof of the building, and Shinichi goes to the roof of the other building and hits him with an arrow, and then he goes to the teacher and asks for the address of the police officer, who was the parasite, and the teacher now gives him the address. The parasite of that police officer was still inside his mother, but here it is time for Maggie to sleep, so it meant that Shinichi had to fight alone here. To eliminate the parasite, he slits her neck, killing both her mother and the police officer. Then we see Shinji visiting his friend in the hospital. He is talking that I will kill all the parasites one by one. Only then we see that someone is taking their pictures, and he was a spy, and this is where the part 1 of this movie ends, and now I will explain to you part 2 of this movie. Is now part 2 shows the time a few months after the incident, when the army finds out that there are parasites in the city who are attacking people, and they wanted to save people. Then they bring a serial killer from jail who could identify who is a parasite cocoon and who is a normal human. People are brought one by one in front of him. He calls everyone normal, but when a sneeze comes in front of him, he gets into thinking, and after a lot of thought, he says that this is also normal. Now when Shinichi is going home, Mig tells him that there is a parasite very close to us, and they go to a nearby building where Voka is eating the cellar. When he sees the parasite, Shinichi fills up on his side, but Maggie kills it. Then suddenly he feels as if there is someone behind him, and it was none other than the same man who took the pictures of Shinichi and Maggie at the end of part 1. And then we are shown the mayor of the city who speaks in favor of the parasites. There was a bad man, and that teacher was also mixed with him, and now we see that that teacher had also had a baby who was a completely normal human being. The mayor knew that Shinichi was killing parasites, so he wanted to kill him too, but the teacher refused. She says that Mickey and Shinichi are connected, so I want to see how they live together, and if you kill Shinichi, our parasite Mickey will also die. And that's why he sent the spy behind Shinichi to keep an eye on him. Shinichi is walking one day that he again feels that there is someone behind him. The detective listens to him and tells him that you should tell the police about yourself. So he tells her no. The police force is also full of parasites. He gets to know here that this spy has been put behind him by the teacher. So he goes to the teacher and says, "What are you all doing? Why don't you stop doing that?" So the teacher tells him, "So why are you killing our fellow parasites? They are just learning to eat humans, and after a while they will stop killing them." He falls silent and then goes to the detective and tells him that the teacher is a very dangerous parasite. It can hurt you at any time, so you stay away from him. But the spy does not believe him. The next day, the detective meets the mayor. He had to test Shin's words to see if he was telling the truth. That's why he puts the voice recorder in the mayor's room. But the mayor finds out about this, and he orders to kill the spy. That it has now become a loss for us. He sends the parasite to her house to kill her. But if she is not at home, they kill her daughter. Now Shinichi, on the other hand, is told by Mijai that there are 5 parasites on you daughter coming to track. Now a man fills in on their side, and the same man's. There were 5 parasites inside. They fight Mig and Shinchio and blow his head off. They think it's dead now, but only 1 parasite was killed and there were still 4 left. The rest of the parasites get into his hands and start controlling him. You tell the teacher, "Why did you do that when I told you not to send a parasite to kill that spy or Shinichi?" Now the mayor notes here that the teacher's heart was returning to human emotions after becoming a mother, so he did not like this at all. Now he sends 3 parasites to kill the teacher, but because she was also a parasite, he finds out that it's that someone is coming to kill her, and she calls them to the parking lot and kills them by fighting alone from those days. But when she comes home, she sees that her child is not there and finds a note. It is written on the JIS that your child is with me and come to meet me on the bridge. In fact, that note was of that spy. He wanted to exchange his dead daughter. After killing this baby of the teacher, The teacher panics and takes Shinichi there with her. Then Shinichi tells the detective that you will not get anything by killing her because this baby is a normal human being. Meanwhile, the army also arrives there, and they find out that the mayor has hidden a lot of parasites inside his building. Now, they were removing people one by one from the building, and the parasite that was among them was going to shoot it. The serial killer was also there, and then we see the mayor making a speech telling us that the real monster is humans, who are killing parasites, so all the army people sitting there shoot him, which leads to his death. That's when the serial killer starts screaming that this was the man. It was just supporting the parasites, but when they look back, the same man stands behind them, who had 5 parasites inside. Everyone shoots him, but nothing happens to him. Then we see that the shoe is about to throw the child. When the teacher sees this, she is forced to create a parasite to save her child. She takes out one of her hands and inserts it into the detective's chest, due to which everyone knows that she is a parasite. The police start shooting at him, and he knew that now his life could not be saved. So he comes to hold his baby Shinji as soon as she catches baby Shinichi. She dies due to too many bullets. Here Shinichi also starts missing her mother, and human feelings start coming back to her. Now the police take Shinichi with them for investigation. But at the same time, they get the news that the parasite in which the 5 parasites have killed the army. Then Shinichi takes the car from Foreign and goes there, and the same parasite stops his car and causes his accident. Now he goes to the forest and tells Maggie that as long as you are with me, he will know where we are, so be with me. Pleased with this, the parasite Foreign comes there and starts attacking them. When Shinichi and Maggie have become friends, Maggie sacrifices herself, separates herself from her body, tells Shinichi to run away, and kills the parasite. Shinichi gets quite depressed at JIS and then heads to his friend's house. She takes great care of him. He's lying down looking at IT. IT is that another part of Maggie is growing from his side, and this happened because when Maggie had corrected his body by looking at his body cells, Maggie's cells had also come into his body, so he could grow again if he wanted. Shinichi felt that now it is coming again. Then that parasite will again know where I am to save your friend's life. You say goodbye to him and leave from there, but as soon as he goes out, the parasite catches him, but after reaching a factory, a chemical road sneezes into his body, but nothing happens to him. So he says, "What do you think of me? I will kill you and kill the rest of the humans, and then I and the rest of the parasites will rule this world." He's about to kill her when Mickey grows back into her body with the Forine and attacks the parasite. At the same time, something begins to happen in his body, and he begins to ache. So he tells Mickey that you hit him from G's Road, with a lot of capitals on it, and now the parasites do not want to stay in its body, and one by one all the parasites leave the body, and now only the structure of its body is left. The Shinichi picks it up and throws it down into the fire, which finally leads to its death. Now we are shown the time after many days, when everything is back to normal. Maggie is telling Shinichi that now that there are no parasites left in this world, we should not live together. I will separate from you, but Shinichi refuses him. So Maggie destroys herself, and Shinichi's hand returns to its form. He becomes very depressed on Zeus and starts missing Maggie. Now let us see that a lot of time has passed, and Shinichi and his friends were living a good life, and also used to visit the teacher's baby. That suddenly we see that the serial was back, and he kidnapped Shinichi's friend. He says in his ear that the real monster is human, but tells Shinichi's friends that the real monster is you. You kill people. So on this matter, the serial killer pushes him down from the building, but Shinichi immediately goes and saves him by extending his hand, and it spreads that he has been helped by Maggie here, and here the movie finally ends. That is part 2. Also, thank you for watching.